What's up, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. Happy Sunday. As most of you guys already know, on Sundays we read the comments here on this channel. Gives us a little bit more time to personally answer your guys' comments. So for our new subscribers, we cover news stories Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then on Sundays we read the comments because a lot of you guys have some great things to bring up. So we want to give some spotlight to that. Now in this video, we're going to cover a wide variety of topics because I did miss the comments video last week. So we're going to do it this week and we're going to try to make up for that. So we're going to kind of see where the comments take us, but we are definitely going to cover the topics of MCU movies versus legendary directors, and we're going to talk about the Catwoman a bit. We're going to talk about the Batman score, and we are also going to talk about some other things, and we'll see where the comments take us. But I do want to start off with this whole MCU versus Francis Ford Coppola and Martin Scorsese issue that I brought up in, I think, one of my previous two videos. So if you guys are not caught up with the story yet, Francis Ford Coppola and Martin Scorsese have made negative comments about the MCU and about how these movies aren't cinema. Now that's just a really short version, but some people have responded to that, including people like James Gunn, and I talked about what James Gunn had to say about it, and since then people like Jon Favreau has also made statements about it, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit. But first, I want to go ahead and bring up some comments that you guys came up with. Now, these next two comments are a little bit on the longer side, which we normally can't fit on the screen, but I'm going to try to right here. So they were very well thought out, so I'm going to go ahead and put them on screen here. So first one is from Nathan Smith. He says, "I'll try to make this short, but I agree with both Score and Cope." So Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola. If they're referring to only Marvel, then yes. They are the same only after Phase 1 or when Disney bought them. The reason that Phase 1 is still my favorite phase was because each film was different. You couldn't make the same correlation between each film because each had their own tone with a hero's journey. Then every film except for Captain America Winter Soldier had a carefree, happy-go-lucky tone with very little consequence. Even in the Avengers films, they all felt the same. Guardians of the Galaxy ending with dude dancing for the whole galaxy as a distraction was stupid in my opinion. Even if Vibe from DC did it, it would be. The DC films have stakes from Man of Steel to BVS, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and even freaking Suicide Squad. They had stakes. Someone died to save the day and they didn't treat it like a joke. That's the difference for me and why I can agree with them more than James Gunn. Thanks for the comment, Nathan Smith. So a little bit of my thoughts on this is that first of all, just to address the first part of your comment, I don't think they were just talking about Marvel movies. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But definitely, Phase 1 is my favorite part of the MCU so far. And to say every film except Captain America Winter Soldier had a carefree, happy-go-lucky tone, some people may feel that way. But to say that each film didn't have a consequence, I think would be incorrect. Even Guardians of the Galaxy, even though, and me personally, I really loved the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and that ending where Star-Lord does that dance to save the universe. I thought it was hilarious. I don't think there was any comic book movie at the time that did something like that, which is why I think it was very original, and it was just something that the audience didn't expect, including me, especially someone who was who didn't know anything about the property, but through one movie got invested in the characters. I actually loved that scene, and but to say that these movies don't have any consequence, I think would be a little bit unfair, because, for example, you stated the Guardians of the Galaxy ending, they had no consequence. Well, the consequence was literally saving that planet, because I think it was Ronan was trying to destroy that planet, and the consequence was thousands of millions, hundreds of millions of lives on that planet. So everyone would have their own interpretation of how the tone is and have a preference of what kind of tone they like in their superhero movies. So I get why you would talk about stakes from Man of Steel and BVS and Wonder Woman and Aquaman, because I mean these are movies I prefer for the most part to MCU movies myself. But they definitely do have a different type of tone, and you seem to enjoy those more, and that's cool, and I totally agree. I do think that Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola were not excluding DC movies in their criticism. I think they were criticizing more so comic book movies than just Marvel movies, and we'll bring that up with this next comment right here. So Shin Akage says, 100% accurate, Rob. Coppola and Scorsese are trashing comic book movies in general. They haven't name dropped DC because because they weren't asked about DC, and Joker was directly influenced by a Scorsese Taxi Driver. It's disrespectful to their contemporaries for them to just shit on comic book movie genre and call them despicable or not cinema. Each and every comic book movie, good or bad, is still cinema, and they are still works of art created by people who have stories to tell, and they usually put their all into their work. They are art, they are cinema, people every bit as hard. Maybe even harder than these two dudes to put out fantastic pieces of work. The box office appeal and relevance of superhero films is undeniable. Perhaps they are intimidated by them, who knows, but they are wrong in their assessment. And I totally agree with you, Shin, about being wrong in their assessment. And I do remember now what James Gunn had mentioned. He mentioned that at the time people thought, cowboy movies were garbage. They thought a lot of types of these type of genre movies. A lot of directors at the time, established directors at the time, would crap on movies like this and say that they were just a fad. And even if they are so, like Shin says, I do believe that there's a lot of hard work and effort and thought put into these movies. Again, I'm not just talking Marvel and DC, I'm talking about comic book movies in general. There's a lot of hard work put into these movies, and a lot of people who want to say something with their work. Whether or not you're able to interpret that work or able to accept it or enjoy it, that's on you, because movies are subjective, and that's cool. I do think that they were trashing comic book movies in general. A lot of people want to take it as, yeah, that's a win for DC because these two great directors are bashing Marvel movies. I didn't take it as that. I think they were, I don't think they really know. Some of them might not even know the difference between Marvel and DC properties. I don't think they follow comic books like that. So I do think they were trashing comic book movies in general. And I don't agree with them, but that's okay, because those two guys have their opinions, and like Jon Favreau says, they've earned the right to have their own opinion, and that's cool. I just don't agree with them. So yeah, that's what I had to say. Thanks both of you guys, Nathan and Shin, for dropping these two comments with, that it kind of really shows the two opposing ways of thinking in regards of these comments. And Noah Hicks is the next question. I saw you ask this question twice, and I apologize I didn't answer it at the time, but I'm seeing it here. He says, I'm first, I think, but hey, heroes, I love your videos. Keep up the good work. I was wondering if you can pick any top 5 DC characters will appear in the movie screen. What do you want it to be? So you want to see, you're wondering if any other top 5 DC characters could be on screen next. Who would I want it to be? Definitely, without a question, someone who we don't know about really yet. I want Green Lantern on the screen next. Now, Green Lantern as a character is someone I've only delved into a little bit, but really on and off. I think Darren is more familiar with the Green Lantern comic stories, more so than myself, because I haven't read a ton of Green Lantern, but I do want to see Green Lantern on screen next. I do think that there's so much potential in Green Lantern showing up in the DCU, and he could really expand just the world that we're in, especially taking us into space. Now, it's unfortunate because Green Lantern was one of the Green Lanterns was supposed to show up, I think Hal Jordan was supposed to show up in Zack Snyder's the Snyder cut of Justice League, but we all know what happened with that. So it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see more of the Green Lanterns show up in Justice League, but yes, I would definitely want him to show up next, and I'm okay with him cameoing in a future movie, in some sort of movie. But I'm not sure where that's going to be or how that's going to play out, because we don't know where DC is going right now. There's a ton of rumors, hard to know what to believe. All we know is what's in front of us right now. Wonder Woman 1984, Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad 2, pretty much, and Aquaman 2, and if I'm missing something, sorry. Giannis MP96 says, I'm so hyped for the new Batman theme by Giacchino. The guy seems very excited that he's doing the Batman movie. I'm so pumped for this. I think the Elfman theme didn't work in Justice League because the movie was horseshit. The Elfman theme is perfect for Ben's Batman because he looks like the animated series Batman. And yeah, fair point. I think I mentioned in my previous video that I didn't like how Elfman's theme was used for Justice League. But the reason why I didn't think it fit was because while he does look like the build of the animated series Batman, his character itself and the character that was established in BVS, it seemed way more serious, and there was a lot more layers to him than the the theme would suggest. The theme is really whimsical. Of course, that's Elfman's kind of signature, these whimsical themes, and I think it fit for the 1989 Batman, fit for the animated series for sure, because it was animated. But I do think Ben's Batman was. Deserved its own theme because of the character that was established in BVS. The Omega Effect says, I would have loved Hans Zimmer to be on this score. I would have loved Hans Zimmer to be on the score, as then it'd be certain that it would be a badass masterpiece theme. And without a doubt, Hans Zimmer, my favorite composer of all time, if he was on the score of the Batman, without a doubt, I just love everything this guy puts out. I was lucky enough 2 summers ago to see him in concert perform everything from Lion King to True Romance to Pirates of the Caribbean to all of the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, and the Man of Steel theme. I almost cried when that theme came on. I saw him for my birthday, and nothing will ever be the same. So Millie says, I hope this Batman film has some horror elements to it, making us feel the fear the bad guys would feel seeing the Batman. I have to believe that Matt Reeves will give us some of those elements, especially because we've gotten it in so much. It's something you got to do, right? Nico Burton, looking forward to hearing the new theme song for the Batman. Very exciting. Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord, Wonder Woman 94 looks amazing and powerful. I agree. So Celestial Dream says, I would love to hear a more somber, intimate theme, a lot of strings and piano, and very ominous gothic style opera, choir, hymn. Danny Elfman's Batman without all the fantastical elements, or Batman Arkhamverse without a bombastic nature, something very quiet. Wow, that's cool. I love that idea, and I'm really wondering what Giacchino created already, because if he was that excited to create something, obviously it depends on the type of story Matt Reeves is trying to tell, but I would love to hear something like that as well. Great, some great detail in there, and thanks for letting us know about that, or thanks for commenting in about that. Celestial Dreams, back on this video about Catwoman, says, I think the mixture of Michelle Pfeiffer and Anne Hathaway should be the next evolutionary step in terms of costume. I would say the goggles, miniature backpack, bullwhip, and a small utility belt is a must. I always feel Catwoman is less protected and naked without it. Inspiration would be Darwin Cook's Catwoman and Jim Lee's Catwoman from Hush. It always made sense to me for her to wear some type of platform boots instead of heels. Wow. Man, your comments very detailed. I love it, and I totally agree with you. Darren just did a video on some of the fan art in terms of Catwoman, and seeing Zoe Kravitz, over the past few weeks, I made a video saying that I was a little underwhelmed by the casting of Zoe Kravitz, but in these past 2 weeks of me kind of internalizing it, thinking about it a little bit more, I'm really excited for Zoe Kravitz, and I'm happy for her, and I think she's gonna kill it. And after thinking about it, I do think that she was a great casting for Catwoman. And again, sometimes it just takes me really thinking about it and really trying to sit down and just imagine her as Catwoman. And seeing these fan arts definitely help. And I love your detail about the inspiration for the costume, and I totally agree. A miniature backpack, that would be something new. I don't remember any of our recent Catwomans having a miniature backpack, but I do think some platform boots instead of heels would be great. I don't want to see our Catwoman in heels, fighting in heels. Zoe Kravitz, I know I talked about her in Dope. I think Ryan made a comment like, how do you not remember in Dope? I seen Dope one time, and when you reminded me of who she was, I totally remember who she was. But Zoe Kravitz, I think he linked a video of her in Pretty Little Liars. I think that's the show. And she definitely has the sex appeal to be Catwoman, and seeing her in these fan arts make me really believe she's going to do a great job. So that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you for commenting in. We really appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. If you did enjoy it, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Peace.